If you want to start a fight in a sports bar, tell the crowd that football and other high-impact sports cause chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, and it should be banned. You might not make it to the end of your drink, but if given the chance to explain yourself, point out that everyone there likely knows someone affected by a head injury, and probably someone living with lingering symptoms. The statistics are damning. The CDC reports between 3-4 million traumatic brain injury, TBI, related emergency room visits, hospitalizations, and deaths each year. Roughly 5.3 million Americans live with TBI-related disabilities, and since 9/11, more than 153,000 U.S. service members have died by suicide, many linked to undiagnosed brain wounds. Ask the next obvious question. With all we now know about brain injuries, why are outcomes still so grim? Over the last decade, the U.S. has spent $8.7 billion on suicide prevention and mental health awareness campaigns. Yet nearly 900,000 veterans still live with brain injuries, diagnosed and undiagnosed, and most are left with nothing more than symptom management and platitudes. Someone might interject, "Wait, did you just say brain wound?" Yes, wound. The Rand Corporation called them invisible wounds back in 2008, and they are. TBI, PTSD, CTE, blast injuries, concussions, they may differ in label, but they often share a common pathology, unresolved trauma to the brain's tissue. The adult human brain weighs about 3 pounds and contains 100 billion neurons and 100 trillion synaptic connections. It is the most complex organ in the body, and perhaps the least resilient. Repeated head trauma creates damage we can't always see, but it's real. And like all wounds, it needs energy and oxygen to heal. Despite this, most medical research dollars are spent not on healing, but on diagnostics, imaging, and data collection. We're building elegant maps of the brain. Google and Harvard recently reconstructed a cubic millimeter of cortex using electron microscopy. That sliver, smaller than a grain of rice, took years to process and cost millions. The pictures are dazzling. The practical treatment outcomes? Few and far between. We're stuck in a bizarre medical purgatory. The literature repeatedly states there's no known treatment for CTE or TS. The implication is clear. Symptom control is all we can offer. It's as though the medical community has surrendered before the real fight even began. That would be understandable if it were true. For decades, doctors believed the brain couldn't generate new neurons after infancy. We now know that's false. Neurogenesis, where stem cells form new neurons, happens across the lifespan and can be stimulated. But the standard of care hasn't caught up. In the meantime, Boston University's CTE Center continues to build its database. 91.7% of former NFL players they've studied had CTE. The youngest were under 30. This May, they accepted the brain of Olympic gold medalist Lisa Brown Miller, who died by suicide at 58. Awareness is growing, but action remains scarce. Sports leagues are starting to pay, but rarely willingly. The NCAA recently agreed to a $92 million concussion lawsuit settlement. The NFL has paid out $1.2 billion since 2015, but also saved hundreds of millions by rejecting claims from players suffering from dementia, many posthumously. The deniers are still in the driver's seat. We've seen this before. With big tobacco, Holocaust denial, climate change, sex abuse scandals. Eventually, facts prevail. And the facts now support something revolutionary: hyperbaric oxygen therapy, HBOT. Dr. Daphne Denham and hundreds of clinicians worldwide are showing real, measurable reversal of symptoms in acute concussion, TBI, PTSD, and other forms of brain trauma. This isn't just symptom relief, this is healing. Yes, cure is a loaded word. Like cancer, CTE is a progressive condition. But just as modern cancer therapies allow people to live with, not die from, the disease, HBOT offers a similar lifeline. Veterans, athletes, first responders, and civilians are returning to fuller lives thanks to this therapy. And here's the kicker: it's cost-effective. Not treating our 877,000 brain-wounded veterans is projected to cost $4.7 trillion over their lifetimes. HBOT could help the majority of them, over 87%, based on existing data, at a fraction of that cost. In 1944, penicillin wasn't tested in double-blind trials, but it saved lives. FDR wanted it on the beaches by D-Day, and it was. We need the same urgency now. People are dying. We have a treatment. We just need the will to use it.